guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elizabeth. If you don't know me, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I am going to be talking about my second trimester today. I am pregnant with my first baby, if you don't know. I'm about 29 weeks at this point, but I'm gonna go back in time a little ways and just give kind of a recap of my entire second trimester experience. I did this with my first trimester as well, so I will link that video. I'm definitely not going to have as much to say about this trimester. The first trimester is very eventful. There are a lot of things, a lot of changes that happen, and the second trimester, I think they call it the honeymoon phase, and I can really see why they call it that because I felt really good through most of my second trimester. I would even say that I felt pretty normal through my second trimester. My energy levels really came back around 14 weeks, and I went from feeling just absolutely exhausted all the time, kind of like that flu-like exhaustion where you just you need to sleep, you need to lay down. That really lifted around 14 weeks, and my energy levels really have felt pretty normal. I will say that if I'm on my feet a lot, if I'm walking around a lot, I will definitely have the urge to oh my gosh, I need to sit down. But it's more like a feeling of I need to sit down and rest versus I need to just go in my bed and pass out for a couple hours. I really have hardly taken any naps through the second trimester. Every once in a while I will feel the urge, and I've just been taking advantage of feeling really good. And I know that in the third trimester, some of that tiredness is probably going to return. At least that's what I hear. So I've just been enjoying being energized and feeling good. I know that that's not the case for everybody in their second trimester, so I'm very thankful that I really felt my energy return. Like I said, probably around 14 weeks. As far as my morning sickness goes, that ended really at about 15 weeks. So I remember the day that I turned 15 weeks, I was actually feeling so discouraged because it was one of my worst days yet. I threw up all through the day. I was feeling really sad, this is never gonna go away. And then the next day I woke up and it was gone. And I don't know why that is. I don't know why it happened that way, but I was so glad to be rid of that. It was really rough that first trimester, and I will say the only thing that has kind of stuck around from feeling sick like that is my gag reflex can be a little intense sometimes, and mostly it will get me if I am brushing my teeth. So if I brush my teeth right after I eat, for some reason that seems to trigger my gag reflex. If I brush my teeth or my tongue a little too aggressively, that will trigger my gag reflex. So I've learned to just be really careful, and if I'm starting to feel gaggy while I'm brushing my teeth, I'll take a break, I'll stop, I'll try to focus so hard on something else, and then I'll come back to it and I'll try again. So that's the only thing, and I'm still experiencing that now, even now in the third trimester. So I don't have the same level of note-taking that I did with my first trimester, because I didn't feel like new things were happening every week, so I didn't record what week certain things happened. I just kind of have a list of just a few of the little symptoms that I had throughout the second trimester. The first thing that I wrote was calf cramps, and this is actually something that I was really nervous for in pregnancy, and I've only had maybe 5 calf and foot cramps. And I have had one really gnarly one, and as it happened, I was kind of half asleep. I was sort of waking up and doing my morning stretch, and I learned that sometimes if you stretch and you point your toe, your calf will cramp so bad. And I was screaming. I woke up Mark and he helped me massage it out, and I was trying to stretch my calf the other way. But thankfully that's only happened, like I said, a handful of times, because it is really a horrible feeling. So the first time that happened, I couldn't remember which way I needed to point my toe to get my calf to release. But now I know that when that happens, you want to point your toe as far up as you possibly can. And usually if I feel it coming on, I can do that and it will go away right away, and it doesn't result in me screaming and waking up Mark. But that first time, that one was really bad, and my calf hurt for like the rest of the day. Mark said when he was trying to rub it out, it felt like there was a golf ball in there. So that's kind of freaky. I really like cramps and stuff like that, just kind of weird me out. So more than anything, I think it freaks me out mentally. Like, ooh, it's a weird feeling. I'm going to talk about the most exciting thing of the second trimester, which is starting to feel kicks. So I started to feel kicks right around 17 weeks, and I feel like everybody describes those first early kicks as like little flutters in your tummy, and for me, that is not what it felt like at all. I don't know if I just have a super strong legged baby, but I, from the very get-go, was feeling huge kicks that were making my tummy visibly jump. And I know they say that you can't really feel them externally for a few weeks after you start feeling them, so I didn't expect Mark to be able to feel it for a while, but he actually started to feel it just like a couple days after I started feeling it. And that was so cool. It's just been an amazing thing to get to feel his kicks. I absolutely love it, even now when they're kind of startling sometimes and almost uncomfortable at times. I love it so much. Just, it's so reassuring feeling him move in there kind of constantly. And really it has been pretty much constant movement since 17 weeks. I went and got my anatomy scan around 21 weeks, and it was just really fun for me to hear the ultrasound tech who does these ultrasounds every single day, for her to say, yes, this is a super active baby that you have on your hands. I was like, yes, I had a feeling. And I keep having to pause the video because of this next symptom, which is breathlessness, or just feeling like I am out of breath all the time. If I'm talking, if I'm walking, if I'm trying to put my shoes on, I feel so out of breath. And from what I have read, that's just because your body is having to do so much extra work to pump all this extra blood. So you just feel really out of breath all the time, and I definitely have been feeling that. Another totally new symptom that I have literally never experienced in my entire life until recently is heartburn or acid reflux, or whatever you want to call it. So I really had no idea what heartburn even felt like, and now I realize that it is truly a horrible feeling, and I feel bad that I never had more sympathy for my mom when she would complain about heartburn, because it is truly horrific. Tums helps, being elevated helps, not eating spicy things helps. But yeah, sometimes that heartburn kicks in, or that acid reflux, and I can just feel like acid just coming up into my throat sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes it's just that, ooh, that burn. I did have something really weird happen, and kind of scary. Thankfully, this only happened one time, because I got really scared that this was going to be something that happened throughout the rest of my pregnancy. But one night for dinner, I had a smoothie, and I waited probably like an hour before I went and laid down and fell asleep. But right when I fell asleep, something weird happened, and that smoothie came back up into my throat, and I didn't know it because I was asleep, and I inhaled it, and so I woke up gasping for breath. Mark was really freaked out because he didn't know what happened. It's not like I threw up, it just kind of like came back up, and I just breathed it into my lungs a little bit, so I had to cough all of that out, and that was really scary because I felt like, oh my gosh, what if I have water in my stomach one night and that happens and I literally drown while I'm sleeping? Like, is that is that going to be a thing? But thankfully, like I said, that hasn't happened since then. Crossing my fingers that that never happens again, because it was really scary. I'm just looking at my notes here to see what else I'm forgetting. Veiny boobs. I wrote down veiny boobs. Okay, so I know everybody says your boobs grow so much during pregnancy, and for me, they definitely have. Not as drastic as some people talk about, but really the thing that has happened to me is that I have super prominent like blue veins across my chest and also across my belly. So that's just kind of a funny thing to note. And I had heard people talk about that too, but I joke with Mark that I feel like I have avatar boobs because they just look kind of blue. And then the last thing that I have written down for second trimester symptoms is hip and back pain. And this isn't something that bothers me all the time, but when it does bother me, it can get pretty bad. Sometimes it'll feel like my lower back, like pelvis kind of area is trying to like pull apart and something is getting pinched, and it can make it really, really difficult to even walk. Sometimes it'll happen and I'll just need to kind of like actually walk it out even though it's super painful. And sometimes it happens and I feel like I shouldn't walk right now, and it'll kind of work itself out later. So it's not like happening constantly, but sometimes it can get bad, like I said, and sometimes it will actually like kind of radiate into my side hip area, and that can be really painful. Standing on one leg can be really painful, but I do see a chiropractor, and he's been working on adjusting my hips, and that helps a lot. So that is all that I have written down for the second trimester. Like I said, it really has been kind of an uneventful trimester as far as negative symptoms go. I mean, I've just had a couple things here and there, but for the most part, I felt really, really good. I felt energized. I haven't been throwing up. And sometimes I think I almost take it for granted how amazing I feel. And then I'll remember just being in the throes of the first trimester and what that felt like. And I'm like, man, it is so nice not to feel like I'm going to throw up all the time, not to be exhausted all the time. I just, in general, feel really, really good. So I'm going to end this video off giving you a little bump update. I think I said this at the beginning, but I'm 29 weeks pregnant right now. So I am in the third trimester, but I will just show you my bump anyway. Feel like it grows a little bit every day, and yeah, it's just been a wild ride. I feel like pregnancy has just been going by so quickly, and I can't believe that I'm in the third trimester already. Anyway, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you would like to give this video a thumbs up, if you'd like to hit the subscribe button, I would so appreciate it, and I will be back soon with another baby thrift store haul because I have a lot of fun stuff that I have collected over the past couple weeks, and I'm so excited to share it. So I'll be back soon with that.